Is the argument about global warming mute? I am not a disbeliever in climate change, but a tax and or cap and trade is not the answer. The poor will be taxed to pay for the poor. I see cap and trade and flat carbon tax as the means to an ugly end. I'm not disbelieving in climate change, but it's not the answer. I'd like to point out Goldman Sachs is lobbying for climate change legislation and is part owner of the Chicago Climate Exchange, where carbon credits from cap and trade would be traded. The IPCC has 2,500 experts on global warming. Less than 1% are climatologists. The chairman of the IPCC is not a climatologist. Al Gore is not a climatologist. However, 31,486 scientists, including 9,029 with PhDs, plus 650 of the world's top climatologists, challenge global warming ideals of being man-made versus natural. That's 32,136 against man-made global warming to 2,500 for man-made. So the debate is far from finished. Around the time Al Gore was putting together the movie about the horrors of global warming titled An Inconvenient Truth, he was also putting together a firm with a former Goldman Sachs executive named David Blood. The firm, Generation Investment Management, nicknamed Blood and Gore, recently bought a share of the company called Camco International Limited, which trades in carbon credits. Here's how cap and trade works. The government sets a limit on the amount of carbon dioxide that can be produced. It then gives existing industries credits for the amount they already produce. The industry in question can then use those credits or trade them. So far, so good. But in Europe, incidentally where it's been done for years, many firms decided that it was way cheaper to offset their increased emissions of CO2 by paying someone in a foreign country to agree to cut their emissions. The people in foreign countries, not being stupid, promptly started doing things like firing up old coal-burning plants for the specific purpose of getting paid to shut them down. In many cases, they simply gave promises to cut emissions in return for a check from the Europeans. Meanwhile, the cost of producing goods in Europe rose. Many manufacturers there decided to relocate to countries without caps. The system didn't do anything for the climate, but it did plenty for the traders. The same would occur here. There are thousands of ways to game the system, which is why most economists oppose cap and trade. So, if the U.S. Senate passes the cap and trade bill and President Obama signs it, Blood and Gore stand to make out just fine on their investments. The market in carbon credits is a very lucrative one, and good old Al Gore stands to be the world's first green billionaire. I think we should be looking at ways of mitigating the damage to areas that are affected on the Earth. This is not, however, the avenue of the IPCC and the United Nations. On the contrary, they are looking at implementation of worldwide taxes and putting a price on CO2 so it can be traded as a commodity. Is that the answer? Maybe we should be taking a much closer look at resource management as well as CO2. When you clear-cut trees along hills, there are going to be problems. When you throw industrial toxins into the waters, reefs die. No one refutes this. So are we being scared into or brainwashed into cap and trade before we know the truth? Don't take my word for it. Please look into it.